This one is long, and trust me, it is interesting. Starts off by saying, how do I deal with this? I am married for 10 years with 3 children, but my husband amekataa tujenge kabisa. Every time I bring it up, he says he will do so once he gets money. We are both working, and I have always told him that I am willing to contribute equally, at least tuwe na shamba shags. Anytime we go up country, we stay at his mother's house just because he is the one who built it for her. What bothers me is that he will take loans just to renovate the house and the compound, yet they are still in very good condition. The house is quite modern, but when it comes to building our own house, that is where he draws the line. I am 30, he is 36, and I feel like tumechelewa and we need our own home. Since December, I decided I will not be going to Shags until we start building. Recently, he took a loan and went to renovate Shags. My Lord, I just feel tired, and I do not want to be around him at all. I don't know if I am being mean, lakini nasikia tu kukaa mbali. It's something we have discussed, and it's the same story over and over again. I completely understand where she's coming from. You know, sometimes you marry a partner and you forget that you've also married the family that he comes with. And some people are so tied to their roots. They're so tied to where they came from. They're so, as in, I have seen this a lot, where somebody is always intent on, I'm gonna build my mama a house, I'll build my mama a car. Them themselves, they don't even have that house and car. But I don't know, it's just something, maybe the way they were brought up, they just have this in connection to, I will do things at home, at home, at home. And I'm just like, what about you? What about your family? The family you have started. Yes, they are family and you love them to death, but where do you draw the line between your relatives and the family that you are creating? Because it would be so interesting if they became so resentful towards you and you wake up one when you're like, I don't know where all this is coming from. Why are you acting brand new? And I'm doing this for family, but it's not your family. You're doing this for your relatives. That is how your wife sees it. And when you get married to somebody, that's your partner. This is the person you're doing life with. So for you to turn around and do all of these projects in your mother's house, and you can't even avail yourself to even do one simple project with your wife, you know, even if it's not like, let's build a house, let's start a plan towards building a house. Yes, I'm still taking care of renovations at home. I'm still coming through for my mother and my mother's house. But with my wife, I'm also coming through for her. I'm like, okay, babe, I don't have the money right now, but let's start a fund. Let's start a joint account. We both contribute, and then we start, you know, just something to show her that you're actually invested in this, project with her. You're invested in doing life with her, and she feels so alone and so out there. So my advice to you is have that final conversation and just tell him exactly how you feel. Don't like confront him, you're always building in your mother's house, what about our house? Maybe he thinks that's also his house, you know. He's like waiting for his mother to die so he can move in. You never know where he's coming from. So I feel like have that final conversation and don't let it come from a place of confrontation. You express your feelings. I am feeling like you're not doing this with me. I am feeling like I am your partner, but you're putting everyone else ahead of me or before me. I am feeling like I'm being dismissed in every conversation we have, and I am feeling like I don't want to do this if you're not doing it with me. Have these conversations and don't confront them. I feel like that's been the thing.
Okay, personally, I don't believe in building a house in Gishagi. For me, it feels like wasting money because you are barely ever there. You're only there every couple of days, out 2 times out of a year at most, or maybe every couple of months. You're not there consistently. So for me, it would make more sense to build a house or buy a house for you somewhere else for you. You know what I'm saying? Like if you are if you already live in your own house right now, you're not renting. Like we have a house that we're not renting. It is ours. We have bought it or we have built it here where we live. And then maybe when we have extra money, you can build a house in Gishagi, just so you don't end up staying at someone else's house, because it is very awkward staying in someone's house. I understand that fully. But like, I don't believe in building a house in Gishagi just to, it feels like a waste of money to me. However, the fact that he's investing so much money in this house is also cause for concern for me, because why are you spending, first of all, taking loans to renovate? That's a depreciating asset. Like, there's nothing about that house that will, I don't know, unless you're planning on renting it out at some point, there's no money coming back from that. It's just money you're pouring into a project that seems to be okay to you. So for me, that's where I'm kind of bothered. The way he's taking up loans and putting you guys in debt just so he can renovate an already okay house, an already modern house. I find that very weird. But ultimately, I think this is a conversation to have with your husband, where you just go, babe, I really want to have my place to go when we go to Gishagi. I do not find it comfortable or convenient for us to stay in your mother's house. I would rather have, even if it's a small little thing, with just one small nice room where we can rest our heads, and I feel like this is my house, then that will give me some sort of comfort. And maybe it's the approach. Just change your approach and make him first of all, try and understand why he's very reserved about building a house there. And number two, because again, this is his mother's property. Let's not be too hasty to assume that it is his property. So let's have a conversation about why don't you want to build a house here, just as Turi has said, and then understand where he's coming from, and then now try and make your case thereafter. Like, after you understand where he's coming from, because the frustration is coming from, I feel like, two people who have very clear plans on their own. Like, he has his plan, you have your plan, and they're very clear to you, these plans individually, but it doesn't seem like you have a combined thought process about how things are being taken care of or how things are being dealt with. So maybe just understand where he's coming from, and then try and make him understand where you're coming from, and then ultimately you'll come to a confluence. But yeah, I still don't agree with building a house in Gishagi. I do believe it's safer and better and smarter to build a house where you live or near where you live. That makes a lot more sense to me, but again, to each their own. A lot of people believe in having a house in Gishagi, but it just feels like such a waste, such a waste of money. So yeah,